on the inside. And that day that I was going to take the pills is when I realized that I needed help, that this is not the way it's supposed to be, and that it would be critical for me to become stagnant in any one of those areas. So I sought help, and in the end, I turned my pain into my purpose by I started a scholarship in my son's honor. And to date, I've given out 17 scholarships to African American boys that want to go to college. And that's all money that I raised through my friends, my family, and myself to provide these scholarships to boys that have been accepted to college. And they might need $500, for books or whatever they need it for. Once they're accepted into college, they can do whatever they want with their $500. So that way I turn my pain into passion because my son loved education.
Hi, it's Tiffany Lorraine Galloway, certified high performance coach with another episode of the Resilient Mother podcast. This month, we're talking about resilient truth. And boy, do I got a great story and a resilient mother here for you today. Minister Alma Thomas has joined me today to share all the adversity she's come over and how she's overcome those things. She's also written 2 books about her experience to share with others and make her pain have purpose and make her mess her message. Thank you for being here, Alma. Please tell us a little bit about you.
Thank you for inviting me and allowing me to share my story on your platform. First of all, I'm a mother of 2, one that transitioned to heaven and the other one that's a 22-year-old. I'm a minister, ordained minister. I'm an author. I'm a survivor.
Absolutely. When did resilience start for you in your life?
Resilience started for me in 2009. In 2009, I buried my son. And that's not the way it's supposed to be. He's supposed to bury me. But on that day when I saw him lowered into the ground, that was one of the worst days of my life. But I realized that I had another child that I had to live for, so I had to pick myself up. I didn't think that I had the strength. I didn't think that I could even attend his funeral. But I got strength when you need it, when you don't know your own strength. That's when your strength shows up. That's when you have to be strong, when you decide that you have to be strong. And I wish I could tell you that the journey to healing was easy for me, but it wasn't. That in on April 17th, 2009, that was my son's first birthday in heaven. And I woke up that morning and I said, I wonder if the angels are singing happy birthday to him. I wonder if my grandmother is baking him a cake. And then I decided not that I wanted to be unalive, but I wanted to spend my son's birthday with him. So I poured all of my high blood pressure pills in my hand, and I was about to take them. And the reason why I know my life still has purpose is because a small voice said, don't do it. If you do it, you'll never see your son again. And I put the pills back, and that was the day that I realized if you know anything about the African American community, a lot of times the reason why we don't seek help is because we grew up on what happens in this house stays in this house. We don't talk about our emotions. We don't talk about our feelings. We definitely don't talk to strangers. And to add a dagger to all that, I'm an ordained minister. So in the church world, they're saying as long as you got God, you're gonna be all right. And then I'm wondering, see, I knew the stages of grief because I studied psychology in college. So I knew about denial and bargaining and depression and all those stages. But in the textbook, it looks like it's a smooth line. You
Mm.
go through depression, then you go through, and I'm like wondering, like one day I'm severely depressed, the next day I'm accepting what happened, and then I go right back to wake me up. This must be a nightmare, and I realized that I need help. It's okay to mix God and therapy. They go hand in hand. Just like if you have a medical problem, you go to the doctor and you prescribe pills for high blood pressure, high cholesterol, whatever your condition is. So when you go to seek therapy, you might need a little more. You may need medicine for your anxiety, your depression, and it's okay. It's okay not to be okay. And that's what I learned during that period, that I was trying to be strong. I was trying to live up to an image that I couldn't, that I was laughing on the outside, but I was silently dying on the inside.
Mm.
And that day that I was going to take the pills is when I realized that I needed help, that this is not the way it's supposed to be, and that it would be critical for me to become stagnant in any one of those areas. So I sought help, and in the end, I turned my pain into my purpose by I started a scholarship in my son's honor. And to date, I've given out 17 scholarships to African American boys that want to go to college. And that's more money that I raised through my friends, my family, and myself to provide these scholarships to boys that have been accepted to college. And they might need $500, for books or whatever they need it for. Once they're accepted into college, they can do whatever they want with their $500. So that way I turn my pain into passion because my son loved education. He loved learning. And this is a way to keep his legacy alive.
I love that so much. And this is just one part of your story. You have a lot of other things you've also overcome.
Yeah. Yes, like if you notice I'm laying down. And it's not because this interview interrupted my nap, but it's because in 2021 I suffered a massive stroke,
Mm.
and then that's when I had a choice to be bitter or better.
Mm.
And I learned how to accept the things that I can't do anything about. I can't do anything right now about the fact that I can't walk. I can't do anything about the fact that I can't use my right hand, but my voice still works. I can still inspire people that what I went through, that you can rise above your circumstances. Like I was telling you earlier, that before my stroke, I wrote 2 books. But what I didn't get a chance to finish telling you is that after my stroke, I've written 5 books with one finger on my left hand because
Well,
my right hand doesn't work, and speaking into the telephone doesn't work for me because you make so many mistakes. You have to go back and fix it anyway. So I've typed these books with one finger on my left hand. And in the midst of that, last year I earned my master's in theology, and now I'm teaching Bible study. I'm teaching the bachelor's program, and I'm in the doctorate program. So you don't have to give up. You don't have to throw your towel in. Um, that in 2 years, uh, wait, let me tell you. A while ago, it was prophesied to me 20 years ago that I was not just going to be national, I was going to be an international speaker. So then all these things happened. I lost my son. I was homeless for a while because my apartment didn't burn, but the row apartments was condemned. So I found myself homeless for a while. I got married and I didn't know that my husband was a drug abuser, and he left me in financial rules. I had to start all over again. And then, like I said, in 2021, I suffered a massive stroke. Then 2 years ago, my apostle, before he died, he said, "You're not just going to be national; you're going to be international." And then now I'm thinking, like, I'm on my sick bed. I can't walk. God, I know you promised me that I'm gonna walk again, but when am I gonna be international? When I walk again, how are you gonna do this, God? So 2 years ago, I took a course, and they challenged us to five podcasts and interview for them or reach out to them. So in that first week, I got 20 interviews.
Wow.
And then now, 2 years later, I've spoken on over 600 podcasts, seminars, and conferences. And when I looked, they were all over the world. Matter of fact, tomorrow morning, I'm speaking to a group of women in Pakistan. So God has used me right from my bed, right from the place where I thought it was over to have my greatest influence. So you don't have to give up just because you go through some bad days. Yes, I'm not minimizing it. I know that people have had their heart broke, they've been discouraged. You try something and it doesn't work. You try to start a business and it doesn't work. You try to write a book and you don't know where to start. And all these things happen in life that discourage you from reaching for your full potential. But you can't give up. I compare my life to, you know, that clown at the carnival that you throw the ball at it really hard and the clown goes all the way down. And just before you claim your grand prize, that sucker bounces back up again.
Yeah.
Well, they put something in that clown that makes it bounce back. God has placed something in me that makes me bounce back. That after everything that I've gone through, I refuse to stay down. So I have something in me that I bounce back. It's just like in life. If you go on a long trip and you miss your turn, you don't pull over to the side of the road and say, "I'm not going anymore because I missed my turn." But we have this great thing called the GPS system. And you put your destination into the GPS system and it says rerouting, rerouting, rerouting. And you get to your destination not the way that you originally planned, but you end up at your destination. Well, that what happens in life, that you have one destination and one way that you plan to get there, but then you make a wrong turn and you don't give up. You don't sit and say, "My life is over. I can't walk. I'm going to lay here and have a pity party." No, you put in rerouting, rerouting, and you get to where you want to go, not just the way you plan, but by another way. So
Yeah.
that's basically my life in a nutshell.
With all of that and all that you've been through, I am so curious what your definition of resilience is.
Never giving up. That no matter what you face, you never give up. I've taught my daughter that we never give in. We never give up or give out. We just keep trying different ways. If plan A doesn't work, there's always a plan B or there's a plan C. But if you give up, then there's no other plans. And if you don't plan, you perish.
Yes.
So you plan to get up and not just to lay in your sea of discomfort and say, "Oh well, this happened to me and this happened to me and woe is me." I could have said, "Oh, my son died. I can't get up. Oh, I've been through a divorce. I've been homeless. So many things happened to me. I'm just gonna give up and throw in the towel." But I was like, "No,
Yeah.
my life still has purpose. That as long as I still have breath in my body, that I'm gonna inspire women everywhere not to give up.
Yeah.
Follow your dreams."
Mm.
It's like if I was to share one thing with your audience, it would be, remember when you were young and you used to um do something and you would come home and your parents would say, "Tiffany, why did you do that?" And you would say, "Because so and so dared me."
Mm.
Well, on this afternoon, I'm double dog daring your audience to dream again, to
Mm.
reach deep, deep inside to those dreams that have fallen asleep, that you rocked them to sleep, that you thought you would never achieve, and dream again. Don't give up on your dreams. I'm reminded of a biblical story, but it applies to everyone. That one day Peter was fishing on his boat, and he fished all night long, and he didn't catch any fish. And Jesus needed his boat, and so Jesus said, "Launch out into the deep." And then he told Peter, "Throw your net." And Peter said, "Lord, I've been fishing all night. You're a good carpenter and all, and a master of all, but I know about fish, and I've been fishing all night, and they're just not biting. So I want to go home, go to bed, and come back again tomorrow." And Jesus said, "At my word, do it again.
Mm.
This time is going to be different." So I'm telling your audience that whatever you tried and it seemed like it failed, do it again.
Mm.
This time is going to be different. And if you know the end of that story, that when Peter threw his net over, he caught so many fish that he had to call his boys over and their boats so what I'm saying in a nutshell is that God is getting ready to bless somebody, not just to bless themselves, but to bless others.
Yeah.
So don't give up. There's somebody waiting for your story. There's somebody waiting for your triumph. There's somebody waiting for you to get out so they can get out. So don't give up. It's not, our life is not just for us, but it's to inspire, because some of us have something in us that others don't think they have, and that's resilience. And they think they need to give up. And when you see somebody, especially who's been as many as through as much as I've been through, and I'm still seeking my dreams, I'm still inspiring people not to give up. You know that you can do it. You can make it. You can soar above your circumstances.
Amen to all of that. It makes me think of the saying, you can choose to be the victim or the victor,
Yes.
and overcome the trauma and find a triumph. It's all
Yes.
up to you. Everything that you've shared is such a testament to, I think, having faith in God and a higher power and a higher purpose that's calling to you and fulfilling it no matter what gets in your way, whether that's being a mom or feeling called to be a speaker. You never know how God's going to work it, but
Yes.
what's meant for you is meant for you. So God wants to bless you. Let him get out of the way.
Right. Huh.
What are some of the tools and strategies or favorite scriptures that you use that help you keep this determination and keep your human spirit alive the way that you do?
One of my favorite scriptures is Jeremiah 29:11. That God has a plan for you. He has a plan to do you good and not evil. And every time I go, and another one is that you shall live and not die. And every time I go through something else, I say God has a plan for my life. That there's a purpose in this, and I try to look for the purpose. And as far as with my son, I learned to look at the triggers, the things that trigger me. Like I used to attend graduations and all those things that would trigger me, but I learned to say no. I'm not going. Then I don't feel that I'm compelled to go if it's a trigger. It's something gonna because even after all these years, graduations and birthdays and weddings of people around his age still trigger me because
Mm.
I still wonder that even though I realize that he's in a better place and that he um did what God wanted him to do, even at a young age. He did everything that he wanted to do, and more. So, but I still wonder, what would he have become? What would he be doing now? Would he be married? Would I have my first grandchild? And all those things. So, with things that trigger me, I just don't do them anymore. But I think of the happy memories. I think of the things that he did that brought me joy, a smell that reminds me of him, a saying that reminds me of him. So that's how I make it through by having pleasant memories of it.
How did you go about making a scholarship in honor of him? I bet there's some parents here that are curious how you go through that process. It's a beautiful way to honor your son.
Well, right now I'm in a beginning process because I haven't made it into a 501c. So all the money that I raise is through my friends and family. So whatever we raise for that year is how many students we choose. Like if we raise $3,000, then we can bless 6 students. So, but eventually I want to become a 501c so we can ask for donations from different people and it'll be tax deductible.
Yeah. So you're referring to the process to become a nonprofit organization.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. That's a great way to do it. And there's some tax advantages there that will allow it to have further reach. So that's a wonderful thing to do. With your day-to-day life, you get to speak, come on podcasts, you're writing books. Can you tell me a little bit about your books and a little about how you found your message?
Okay. In my podcast that I do twice a month is called Inspirational Moments by Providence T. And I give inspirational stories and sermons um to inspire people not to give up. And my first 2 books, Dream Killers and From the Waiting Room to the Recovery Room. Dream Killers is about things that can kill our dreams, like low self esteem, our past, people, places, and things. And once you identify those things that are assassins, you stay away from them. You find out what triggers you, what limiting beliefs that you grew up with. That in your childhood, we find that a lot of our traumas is from our childhood. That's why it's important as parents to recognize what we say. Our words have power. Like when you tell a child, you just like your no good daddy, or you'll never be nothing, they identify with those things. So we have to be careful of words that we speak over our children. And the books that I've written after my stroke, I wrote a book on faith. What book I'm working on now is before my stroke, I was a Head Start teacher, so I taught for 32 years. So my book is called Being in the Classroom for 33 Years Isn't for the Weak. And it talks about to new teachers about how not to burn out, what things are important and why it's important. One of the sections that I love is the fatherhood involvement story, because the section, because as parents, sometimes if you're a mother and you and the father have broken up, you don't allow him to be in the children's life. But it's important for them to have both parents, because studies show that when a parent a father is involved in a child's life, they're less likely to be teenage pregnancies, to join gangs. So just the father's presence is important, because the father teaches a son how to be a man, and a daughter what to expect from a man. So you want these experiences to be positive, because it's going to have a lasting effect on your child's life.
Absolutely. Yep. The statistics definitely show in favor of both parents being involved. Absolutely. As much as they can be if they choose to be.
Right.
So, I love that you're a teacher. Did that help you naturally transition into speaking because you were used to teaching and now you teach through your words?
Yes. Um, like I said, Dad, um, teaching has been my first job and my only job. And working with preschoolers, I loved it, because it's like they come into the classroom as a blank canvas, and you enable them to become a masterpiece.
Oh, that's a beautiful way of putting it. Do you feel every person is a masterpiece? God's just trying to paint them?
Yes. And every masterpiece is going to be different and unique in its own way, but it's still important. You're still important. And as a matter of fact, one of my latest projects is a coloring book for preschoolers. It's called Positive Affirmations for Preschoolers. I am beautiful. I am smart. I am lovable. All those words that, from as long as they're able to comprehend, should be infused in their life, that they are somebody, and that they are unique and different, and but yet all the same.
Especially from a young age. I really love that you
Yes.
said our words have power. There's a study that was done out there by scientists where they took just jars of rice and put labels on them. And some of the labels were negative and some of the words were positive. That were the labels. So one might say beautiful, one might say ugly, one might say good, one might say bad. And then they just let it sit and see what would happen. And all the jars that had negative words on them molded and got gross, but the rice that had positive words on there didn't change as quickly. They found the same thing with water. And when they put the water molecules under a microscope, the water molecules showed complete chaos with the negative words. But the good words that the water was labeled with showed beautiful snowflake like organization of the cells of the water. So it is really true that our words have power. And I'm so grateful for your example, your vulnerability and sharing, and just showing that that is one thing nobody's going to take away from you is the power of your words. No matter what life throws at you, there's always an opportunity to share your testimony, to share your story, to share your spirit, to give your energy, and to give your love out into the world for those that are waiting for it, as you said.
Yes.
Thank you so much for coming on. If someone wanted to work with you or find out more where they can get your books, where can they find you?
They can find me right now on Facebook at Alma Thomas Ministry page on Facebook. And all my books and stuff are listed, and they can get them from me, autographed copy of my books, along with little special surprises to make their day.
Oh, I love that. All right, audience, thank you for being here. I hope you found inspiration as much as I did today from this interview. I believe in you, believe in yourself. God bless, and we'll see you on the next episode of the Resilient Mother Podcast. Thank you for joining us today. Please don't forget to subscribe so we can share this message. We are a worldwide podcast with guests all around the world, and we want to continue to grow this community. You can find us on socials. You could also be a guest. Look for that link below if you'd be interested in being a guest on the podcast. If you know a sponsor or would like to be a sponsor, please reach out to me or Catherine as well.
Sure. We want you all on this journey. We want to hear your stories. We want to share your stories. We want to gain strength from each other because together we're stronger. And to never forget the blessing of being a mother and what we're creating. We're creating the future every single day of our lives. So get on this train with us and let's do this thing, moms.
I believe in you, believe in yourself. God bless, and we'll see you around. Take care.